The next thing we want to look at is your message. The message is the most important part of your AdWords setup. We want to make sure that the message that you have out there matches the intention of the buyer. When a buyer types something into Google, they have a certain set of expectations to what they are going to see when the ad is served. And you've probably heard of Google Quality Score. Quality Score is all about relevancy. The higher the quality score, the better. That means you have a really good ad that's attracting high quality traffic. So before you even go ahead and build an ad, one of the first things that we do here at Ad Machines is we follow a certain process. We call it the ad copy formula in putting together the message. And there's this book that one of my first marketing books I ever read was Duct Tape Marketing. It was by John Jantz. And he talks about putting together a strategy first before going out and implementing tactics. So a lot of what we do here has everything to do with just basic salesmanship. So the 10 things that we like to work into every ad, the first thing would be speed. How fast can you solve somebody's problem? The next thing is going to be trust. People like to buy from people they know, like, and trust. How can you incorporate your positive reviews online and put that into the body of the ad? The next thing is the local factor. You know, if you're serving a local audience, it's important to name the city or town where you're located in addition to the local phone line. That way you appear to be very local to the buyer. Next, which is probably the one thing that we see where people make the biggest mistakes, is the offer. What do I do next? You know, you have to tell people what to do. You know, are you providing a free in-home estimate? Should they call now for service? Those are all obvious things for people to do next. You have to answer that question in the ad copy. The next thing is, you know, what's in it for me? You know, can you answer that question? What are the tangible benefits I'm going to get by doing business with you? Next, we're going to look at value. What can you do if you are apples to apples with a competitor? What's the one thing that you can deliver that they can't deliver? Something extra, something that gives your ad an edge. Next, we're going to look at the guarantee. You know, what's your big, bold promise? What can you do or promise that your competitor can't promise? And it usually is something that makes you really want to, you're going to have some squeamish feelings about that guarantee, and that's when you know you have a good one. The next thing is the differentiation factor. How are you different in the marketplace? Do you have specialized training? How long have you been in business? Perhaps you've been in business for 30, 40 years. You know, what separates you from the crowd? Next, how can you make it easy for somebody to move ahead? You know, there's a lot of barriers to entry sometimes when you're working against competitors. They are mishandling the phone. Their ad is confusing. How can you make it easy? Do you provide financing? Do you have flexible weekend appointments? How are you going to make the experience easy for the buyer? And the last thing would be the urgency factor. How can you compel a buyer to take action now? And those are all of the factors, all the elements that we sit down and write out before we even put an ad online.